Hi, today I'm going to talk about wine. Wine is an alcoholic beverage made with the fermented juice of grape. Technically, wine can be made with any fruit, but if it just say wine on the label, then it's made with grape. How to make wine? The red wine first step is grow grape and harvest them. Step 2. Crunch the grape. Step 3. Fermenting grape sugar into wine. Step 4. Fining and racking. Step 5. Filtering, aging, and bottling. White wine. Part 1 is crunch grape and collect juice. Part 2. Fermenting grape juice into wine. Part 3. Oaky wine and MLF. Part 4. Filtering and bottling. Rose wine. There are 3 primary ways to make rose wine. The first one is maceration method. Second, sangria or blend method. Third is blending method. The difference between natural cork and synthetic cork. Natural cork bottle come from the cork tree. Perhaps the biggest benefit of natural cork is its ability to breathe. Cork allows slight amount of oxygen into the bottle, helping the wine age at a slow and steady rate. In addition, natural cork makes wine susceptible to the fungus that live in the cork tree called CTA, which causes the wine to be corked. Synthetic cork. Synthetic cork are made from low-density polyethylene. It doesn't have ability to allow wine to breathe. Therefore, it is not the best choice for bottle meant to be aged. A major benefit of synthetic cork is its reduction of cork taint. CTA, the cork taint causing fungus that live in natural cork tree, is obviously not found in synthetic cork. What is tannin? Tannin is found in red wine and contribute to the astringent quality of red wine. Put a wet black tea bag on your tongue for a great example of how tannins taste. The major type of wine. The first one is red wine. It's made from black grape. Second, rose wine is made from black grape, but the skin is removed before the wine is converted. Second, white wine is mostly produced using green grape, but sometimes it's made using black grape. Fourth, sparkling wine, a bubbly wine. It requires second fermentation to create the bubble. It can be rose, red, or white wine. Champagne is white sparkling wine. That type is typically made in the Champagne region in France. It usually considered as a formal wine and is associated with celebration. What is the New World and Old World? Old World wine are often described as tasting lighter, having less alcohol, having higher acidity, and tasting less fruity. The New World wine are often described as tasting richer, having higher alcohol, having less acidity, and tasting more fruity. What is a vintage? The term vintage is derived from the word vin, which means wine in French. It refers to the year of the great harvest and the production year of the wine made from those harvested varietals. A wine that is labeled vintage should only be made by the grape that were grown and harvested from the vintage year specified on the label. What is the winemaking process? Wine production is a natural process that requires little human intervention. There are 5 basic steps to make wine. The first one is harvest. Second, crunching and pressing. Third, fermentation. Fourth, clarification. Fifth, aging and bottling. What kind of grape make wine? There are more than 1,000 grape types used in winemaking around the world. Below is a brief listing of some of the more common grapes used to produce wine, along with link to a full listing of winemaking grapes. The juice from these grapes may be used to produce wine in one of three ways. The first is wine directly named for the type of wine. Second, wine that are blend of two or more grapes. Third, wine named for the region where the grapes are grown. What is foxy, aroma, and flavor mean? Foxy is a term to describe the so-called foxy taste in American Nebraska and closely related grapes. Foxiness can be described as a smelling and tasting like foxurine, an animal den, or even milk coat. A flavor substance called methyl anthranilate is partially responsible for this characteristic. Why do you call some wine by region and other wine by grape varietal? New World wine name. In majority of wine regions of the New World, the winemaker choose to name their wine after the sole or principal grape varietal that has gone into creating the beverage. In simpler terms, this means the wine is called oval wine name. In wine that are made in the oval, this wine generally receives the name of the region from which the wine was made. The reason winery from the oval name their wine after region is because oval winemakers tend to feel that the place where the wine was made has as much, if not more, to do with how the wine will taste as grape. This sense of place is called terroir. It is the idea that the sun, moon, soil, rain, and climate all impact the finished wine. When a wine is truly made well, oval winemaker believe you can taste that wine terroir just as well as the grape characteristic. 10 major white grapes. The first one is Chardonnay. The flavor is green apple, citrus, pineapple, and papaya. Chardonnay grows all over the world. It breathes its mineral like pinnacle in Burgundy, ripen to tropical richness in California and Australia, and take very well to New York. Second, Chenin Blanc. The flavor is real apple, lemon drop, pear, and honeydew. Chenin Blanc is a white grape common in the Loire Valley of France. Second, Gouvernemine. Flavor is lychee, grapefruit, and flower. This grape breeds its effect in Alsace, where it produces intensely floral, aromatic, spicy wine that blends from Bondi, decadently sweet. Fourth is Marsanne. The flavor is marzipan, white peach, and pear. The most important white grape of northern cone. Fifth, Muscat. Flavor is orange and tangerine. There are many varieties of Muscat throughout the world, but all are made by the penetrant aroma of orange. Sixth, Pinot Blanc. The flavor is green apple and citrus. In Alsace, northern Italy, and Oregon and part of California, some very nice versions are made, ranging from lightly herbal to spicy to citrusy. The next one is Riesling. The flavor green apple, citrus, apricot, peach, and honeysuckle. The greatest Riesling are the German wine of the Moselle. 8. Roussanne. The flavor is lime, citrus, and strong fruit. Roussanne is widely planted throughout southern France and has become quite popular among the Lone Ranger of California and Washington State. Sauvignon Blanc, the flavor is glass, herb, citrus, pineapple, and peach. Sauvignon Blanc does well in widely diverse parts of the world and is something of chameleon grape that can deliver interesting flavor across a wide spectrum of richness. 10. Semillon. The flavor is fig melon-like herb. Like Sauvignon Blanc is frequent blending made, Semillon can make a fine bone dry white wine. Notable for its texture and softly grassy aroma, or it can be late harvest. 10 major red grapes. The first is Cabernet. Cabernet was originally cultivated in France. Most Cabernet wine has striking aroma of raspberry sauce, sour cherry, green peppercorn, and granite-like minerality. On the higher end, the herbaceous bitter note depart the sense in flavor of sweet bitter berry, refined like tannin, and bittersweet note like cocoa powder. The second is Grenache. Grenache is a dark grape grown all over the world for use in creating red wine. Grenache is pale, fruity, semi-translucent, and sweet, and mostly used in brighten and lighten heavier reds. Its aroma is candied sweet, red fruit, and spice such as pepper and cinnamon. Second, Malbec is one of 6 grapes used in the Bordeaux wine. Its grown worldwide. Malbec grapes are known for their dark, rich color, and they are often termed as dark purple. Fourth, Merlot is a dark grape with a blue skin which used in blend as well as single varietal. It's associated with California, Bordeaux, Australia, and Chile. Traditional Bordeaux Merlot are often lighter color. They taste of garden fresh, red fruit, and contain lively or vegetal strips. Deep color, full body, high alcohol, and low tannin are the characteristic of wine made from the Merlot grape. The aroma and flavor can be plummy or sometimes chocolatey. 5. Nebbiolo. This is an Italian grape. It's mostly linked to the Piedmont region. The color of the Nebbiolo is light ruby red. Nebbiolo is also known for its strong flavor, which includes harsh tannin. The flavor includes chewy, earthy one like licorice and anise. 6. Shiraz. The northern part of French Rhone Valley is the classic home of great wine from the Shiraz grape. Shiraz grape produce deeply colored wine with full body, firm tannin, and aroma flavor that can suggest berry, smoked meat, black pepper, tar, or even burnt rubber. Jammy, fruity, and spicy, Shiraz is the grape that can take on different characteristics. 7. Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon is a noble grape variety that grows well in just about any climate that is not very cool. It became famous through the red wine of Medoc district of Bordeaux. The Cabernet Sauvignon grape make wine that are high in tannin and are medium to full body. The descriptor of Cabernet Sauvignon aroma and flavor is blackcurrant or cassis. 8. Barbera. Barbera is a grape and wine variety that comes mostly from northern Italy. It's a low tannin red with soft plum flavor and sinky acidity. The Pinot Noir grape variety is phonetically troublesome, enigmatic, and challenging. The prototype for Pinot Noir wine is red Burgundy from French Oregon, California, New Zealand, and part of Australia and Chile also produce good Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir is lighter and in color than Cabernet or Merlot. In relative high alcohol, medium to high acidity, and medium to low tannin. Its flavor and aroma can be very fruity or earthy or woodsy, depending on how it is growing and vinified. 10. Zinfandel. Zinfandel is one of the oldest grapes in California, and it therefore enjoy a certain status there. Zinfandel make rich dark wine that are high in alcohol and medium to high in tannin. They can have blackberry or raspberry aroma and flavor, a spicy or tarry character, or even a jammy flavor. Some sins are lighter than others. Why geography is important? There are a lot of geographic influence on what makes a plot of land, particularly special for making wine. The first one is seasonal growing temperature. Second, climate. Third, elevator. Fourth is soil type. What is the environmental factor affect the quality of grape? Microclimate is a variation of climate variable at the plot level or inside the canopy. Microclimate can be manipulated by canopy management. Factors that determine wine quality is the plant environment. The first one is climate, weather. The second is temperature. Third, sunlight. And fourth is soil. The wine of the old world. Each country has its own special region where red or white wine are produced. Old wine are from country or region where winemaking first originated. Old wine country include French, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Greece, Austria, Hungary, and Germany. Also based on definition, countries like Turkey, Georgia, Armenia, or Moldova are also able to be considered old wine region too. Old wine are often described as tasting lighter, having less alcohol, having higher acidity, and tasting less fruity. For major white wine and grape, which are produced in Alsace, Loire, Bordeaux, and Burgundy. The first one is Alsace. The white wine is Riesling, Vauclusamine, Pinot Gris. The next one is Bordeaux. Bordeaux has Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon. Next is Burgundy, has Chardonnay, Aligoté for the white. Next is Loire. Loire has Chenin Blanc and Sauvignon Blanc. German wine, this is German white wine. And the next one is German red wine. The next one is Australia wine. This is Australia white wine and this is Australia red wine. History of German winery. Wine history in Germany is a very long one dating back to the Roman. The church monastery carried forward viticultural practice and traditional throughout the Middle Age and are credited with planning some of the country vineyard vineyard. After Napoleon invasion, the church vineyard was sold to private landowner. History of Australia Winery. The first Australian commercial vineyard and winery was established by John McArthur Camden Park in the west of Sydney. Principal variety grower Pinot Frontenac, Gouais, Venejo, and Cabernet Sauvignon. In 1850, many commercial vineyards of wine production were established. The earliest Australian soil which are protected by the remoteness from damage of industrialization and disease prove the fertility of the soil. In the year 1825, Australia became a victim of Phyllosera, a pest of commercial grapevine, resulting to deformation on roots and secondary fungal infection that cut the flow of nutrients and water to the vine. Throughout strict quarantine declaration, South Australia wine region remained phyllocary-free. This is the grape that grow in German and Australia vineyard. Fermentation. German fermentation is a natural process. Grapes have yeast on their skin. When the yeast come into contact with the natural sugar in the must, it proceeds rapidly and converts the sugar into carbon dioxide, which escapes, and alcohol. Riper grapes with higher amount of natural sugar therefore have the potential to produce a wine with more alcohol. On the other hand, if there is not enough natural sugar in the must, the alcohol will be too low and the wine will have little staying powder and will taste out of balance. Australia fermentation. Fermentation commences once the yeast has consumed the sugar, turning to alcohol. The grapes are then pressed to the exact juice. The main difference is that white wine production commonly use grapes without their skin during fermentation. Another is that white wine is fermented at a cooler temperature, capturing the fruit flavor profile. Wine blend. German wine blend is Schwarzriesling Pinot Meunier, a variant of Pinot that ripens slightly sooner, making elegant and minerally Pinot-like wine. Unlike Riesling, this red grape, better known as Player in Champagne blend, is a specialty of Württemberg, where it makes great Chilivian, the local term of a script like rosé. It finds its way into some sparkling skate as well. Australia wine blend. Cabernet Sauvignon based Australian red blend and Shiraz based Australian red blend. Alcohol content of German and Australia wine. Below 10% alcohol content is Cabernet Riesling is 8% alcohol content. It's like sweet German Riesling. And the next is Palais Riesling 8.5 alcohol content. It's rich sweet German Riesling. The next one is 13.5 to 15 alcohol content. Ganache aka Ganache is Australia and Shiraz Australia. And over 15% alcohol content is Shiraz. Shiraz is more than 15.5 alcohol content. Is wine of Australia and Ganache Shiraz Mauvier is 15.5% alcohol content. Is Australian too. Therefore, the highest alcohol content of wine in both German and Australia is Shiraz of Australia. Pairing wine with food. German wine pairing with food. German Riesling is widely considered to be the most food-friendly white wine in the world. Not to be forgotten, German Pinot Blanc and Pinot Gris offer the perfect balance of acidity, low alcohol, and fruit to match a variety of dishes. Rounding out the Pinot Tiro, slightly tannic German Pinot Noir pair well with grilled fish, smoked meat, and more. Australian wine pairing with food. Pale wine and food with similar weight and or texture. Similarly weight, food and wine balance each other. Food and wine can be light, medium or heavy body. Creamy chicken dish and Chardonnay are both medium weight or rich, so they complement each other. Next is pale wine and food with similar sweetness. It is preferable for the wine to be equal or higher in sugar than the dish. Turkey or roast pork with apple sauce pair beautifully with Cimarron, Semi-Sauvignon Blanc, or Verdejo. Next is salt. Scraped wine, balanced salty flavor. A scraped Sauvignon Blanc, balanced salty olive and feta cheese. Sauce. Choose the wine to the sauce served. Light seasoned sauce complement a Sauvignon Blanc and light or unwooded Chardonnay. Heavy cream and mushroom sauce are great with full-body Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. Rich red and meat sauce match Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Shiraz. Next is protein. Match wine to meat, fish, or poultry. When serving without a sauce, Pinot Noir tastes great with duck. Next is spicy food. Sweeter wine offers relief from spicy food. Semillon, Verdejo, and Rosé pair well with Asian food. And of course, don't forget our great Australian sparkling wine. Try sparkling Shiraz or brightening Blanc, de Blanc, or sparkling Rose. Serving temperature. Serving temperature of German wine. Optimal drinking temperature. Sparkling wine at 8 to 10 degrees Celsius and white wine, like young, is 9 to 11 degrees Celsius and full body and major is 11 to 13 degrees Celsius. Rosé wine is 9 to 13 degrees Celsius and red wine, like young, is 14 to 16 degrees Celsius. Full body is 16 to 18 degrees Celsius and full body and heavily tannic is 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. Serving temperature of Australian wine is non-vintage champagne, sparkling wine, and iced wine should be served ice cold, 4 to 6 degrees. Lighter body white wine, sweeter rosé, vintage champagne, and dessert wine should be served cold, 6 to 10 degrees. Full body white wine and dry rosé should be serving cold, 10 to 14 degrees. Lighter body red wine should be served cool, 12 to 16 degrees. And the last one is full body red wine should be served at room temperature 16 to 18 degrees. Wide shelf life of German wine and Australian wine. The first one is German wine. The shelf life of a wine depends on the sufficient sulfurization, sterilized bottling, and suitable closure. In addition to this critical cellar treatment, growing region, vintage grape variety, method of harvest, and quality category also play a role. Aging potential is also influenced by existing alcohol acidity, residual sugar, and tannins. Australia Australia shelf life, wine and wine product. This normally would only apply where plastic or other non-glass packaging is used and where a limit shelf life less than 2 years is likely. How can I tell if a wine is gog or bad? Gog wine gives off a smell that is similar to a dank, moldy basement, a wet newspaper, or a wet dog. These aromas are associated with gog taint, or the wine being gog. This is a sign that the gog has had mold growing on it at some stage, which left a chemical known as TCA in the gog. The mold may be long gone, but even tiny amount of TCA can impact negative flavors on wine. There are 3 major red wine producing regions in Italy. The first one is Piedmont. History of Piedmont. Celtic tribes inhabited the Piedmont wine region until the Romans took over. When the Roman Empire fell, so this Piedmont Phylloxera, a grape pest, invaded the Piedmont in the late 1800s, requiring the replanting of many wine. Barbera, an easy and abundantly growing wine, was the choice for many of the vineyards, paving the way for its takeover of Piedmont. Grape in Piedmont. The red grape is Barbera, Doceto, and Nebbiolo. The white grape is Agnus, Cortez, and Muscat. Fermentation. The fermentation process is hot, leaving much of natural sugar remain in the wine. By cooling the grape much dramatically, no secondary fermentation is allowed in the bottle, and immediately before bottling, the wine is filtered to give it a distinctive color. Wine blend. Chianti is another name of rosé, and is produced in numerous Italian wine regions, where it is most commonly a blend of various red grapes, 2 wines, a white and a red, 2 Piedmont DOC wine made of indigenous Piedmont grapes is a unique blend that until now have not been offered. Fresh and young wine with strong character that distinguish themselves from the usual Piedmont style enjoyed today. Alcohol content. Nebbiolo is a wine that has high acidity, a pale garnet color, intense grippy tannish flavor of cherry, rose, and tar, as well as moderately high alcohol content of 13 to 15%. Pairing with food. Barbella, meat and tomato-based pasta dish, jam, hard cheese, as well as grilled meat like hamburger and sausage. The next one is Dolcetto, pizza tomato-based ragu, moderately spiced chili, and slightly spicy pork rib on the barbecue, also paired great with cured meat. Next is Nebbiolo, rich heavy meat and sauce work well. Serving temperature. Barbera is 55 to 58 Fahrenheit. Dolcetto is 54 to 60 Fahrenheit. Nebbiolo is 60 to 65 Fahrenheit. Shelf life of them is Barbera is 3 years. Dolcetto is 90 days. Nebbiolo is 7 to 15 years. How can I tell if a wine is gog or bad? Gogwai gives off a smell that is similar to a dank, moldy basement, a wet newspaper, or a wet dog. These aromas are associated with gog taint, or the wine being gog. This is a sign that the gog has had mold growing on it at some stage, which left a chemical known as TCA in the gog. The mold may be long gone, but even tiny amount of TCA can impact negative flavors on wine. History of Tuscany winery. The Etruscans were the first vintners to work the land. They trained their grape wine with natural hydraulic support like fig, olive, and nut tree. Eventually, the area was taken over by the Romans during the medieval period. Wine was a major commodity in Tuscany. Wine sales were documented as early as 1079. In association with the Mercato Vecchio in Florence, local wine merchants formed a guide in 1282 in an attempt to promote and regulate their trade. Grape in Tuscany. Nearly two-thirds of Tuscany vineyards are planted with Sangiovese, its region's most important grape. Trebbiano is the most widely planted white variety, but as far as white wine goes, Venezia and Vermentino have more to offer. In 2014, Tuscany produced nearly 2.78 million hectoliters of wine. Fermentation. After crushing and distillation, the harvest is put into the fermentation vat, which may vary in size between 50 to 5,000 gallons. Where the alcoholic fermentation takes place, most red grapes go to the fermenter for primary fermentation, the conversion of sugar into alcohol and CO2. While most white wines are pressed prior to fermentation, some white wines are fermented in small oak barrels. Yeast is added to start fermentation. Wine blend. Sangiovese was always blended with other varieties such as Colorino and Memolo. Alcohol content. Tuscany. The alcohol by volume tend to be underestimated. Pairing with food, Sangiovese and tomato is classic combination. Pair wine with tomato-based dish such as red sauce pasta, spaghetti, and meatball. The Italian-influenced American dish, famous the world over, or preparation with marinata sauce like ravioli alla marinara, a brilliant pairing with Sangiovese. Serving temperature. The serving temperature ranges between 10 onsa Celsius or 50 Fahrenheit and 13 onsa Celsius or 55 Fahrenheit. Shelf life. Sangiovese is 20 years or more. How can I tell if a wine is gog or bad? Gog wine gives off a smell that is similar to a dank, moldy basement, a wet newspaper, or a wet dog. These aromas are associated with gog taint, or the wine being gog. This is a sign that the gog has had mold growing on it at some stage, which left a chemical known as TCA in the gog. The mold may be long gone, but even tiny amount of TCA can impact negative flavors on wine. History of Veneto winery. The Veneto wine region has been home to viticulture since the Bronze Age, making it one of the oldest homes of winemaking in the world. Before the Roman Empire came to Veneto, there were just a little village and city here and there, and most of wine produced was simply consumed by the peasants who made it. Winemaking was not yet a livelihood for the region, but more for a hobby. The Romans changed all that when they showed up around 200 BC. It was the Romans who cut the landscape into patchwork of fields to be used for growing assorted things, with much of land being dedicated to grape wine. It was also Romans who started the settlement that would eventually become known as Verona and Venice, the source of region, wealth, and influence. And this is the grape in Veneto. Fermentation. Winemaker ferment a basic Valpolicella DOC. Next, they start a second fermentation using the pulments of grape skin left over from Amarone and Ricciato. This method melts and soft and supple character of Valpolicella with the slightly bitter and resin. Veneto wine blend. Corvina Londinella are two grape varieties commonly blended together. The traditional Valpolicella blend consists of three grape varieties: Corvina, Rondinella, and Molinara. The first two are usually used in the highest proportion, as Molinara tends to be fairly nondescript and is prone to oxidation. Alcohol content. Corvina is 14%, Molinara is 12%, and Rondinella is 12.5%. Therefore, Corvina is the highest alcohol content. Pairing with food. Corvina and Rondinella can eat with pasta, with tomato, anchovy, and olive, beef and vegetable dumpling, soup, beef cookers with raisin. Molinara. This grape goes well with Italian cuisine like pasta e fagioli, which is Verona style pasta and beans, and chopped salad with Thousand Island dressing. Serving temperature. Corvina is between 16 to 18 องศา Celsius. Molinara is 13 to 16 องศา Celsius, and the last one is Rondinella, 16 to 18 องศา Celsius. Shelf life. Corvina is 5 to 8 years, Molinara is 5 to 8 years, and Rondinella is 5 to 8 years. How can I tell if a wine is gog or bad? Gog wine gives off a smell that is similar to a dank, moldy basement, a wet newspaper, or a wet dog. These aromas are associated with gog taint, or the wine being gog. This is a sign that the gog has had mold growing on it at some stage, which left a chemical known as TCA in the gog. The mold may be long gone, but even tiny amount of TCA can impact negative flavors on wine. 3 red wine of Spain. There are 3 major red wine producing regions in Spain. The first one is Rioja. History of Rioja winery. The Romans started winery throughout the region, and many of these wineries have withstood the test of time. After the Roman Empire collapsed, the Moors did little to keep the La Loja wine tradition going, but the Spain became its own country in 1512. Winemaking was reborn. During this time, Benedictine monks began cultivating the land and developing numerous wines, slowly but surely. Spain viticulture was making its mark on the world. In the 1820s, phylloxera infestation essentially wiped out Boonyakiat in French. Vintner from Bordeaux decided to move to La Loja to start over the fresh fruit. The French brought their technical and money to the region and infused La Loja with new life and improved wine production. And this is the grape in La Loja winery. And next one is fermentation. White wine and rose wine, they must be put in controlled temperature fermenter. Red wine, the whole grape branch are fermented in a large pool. This is known as carbonic caramelization. The resulting wine are smoother and with good body, ideally sweet of drinking during the first year. In this case, the mash is pumped over during fermentation to ensure good color extraction and maintain a constant temperature throughout the tank. Wine blend Garnacha Tempranillo is a hugely popular blend that combines two of Spain's core red wine varieties to produce both red and rosé wine from various areas of the country. Alcohol content Garnacha often at least 15%. Tempranillo is 13 to 14.5%. Therefore, Garnacha is the highest alcohol content. Serving temperature Garnacha and Tempranillo is 55 to 16 Fahrenheit. Shelf life Garnacha is 3 to 5 years. Tempranillo aging from the little to no oak all the way up to 18 to 24 months with an additional 4 years of bottle aging. Pairing with food, Garnacha. Like Garnacha wine should be paired with pork, salmon, or barbecue. Tempranillo should pair with lasagna, pizza, and dish with tomato-based sauce, barbecue, grilled meat, smoked dish. How can I tell if a wine is gog or bad? Gog wine gives off a smell that is similar to a dank, moldy basement, a wet new purple, or a wet dog. These aromas are associated with gog taint, or the wine being gog. This is a sign that the gog has had mold growing on it at some stage, which left a chemical known as TCA in the gog. The mold may be long gone, but even tiny amount of TCA can impact negative flavors on wine. Ribera del Duero. History of Ribera del Duero winery. The Romans cultivated vineyards in Ribera del Duero. Wine could have been produced those days to supply their regions. It was, however, monastic order which spread wine culture in this part of the Iberian Plateau. In second half of the 19th century, Licanda family found a winery on the bank of the Duero River. In its vineyard, used international grape variety, something very unusual in Spain at this time. They plant Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, or Malbec. Soon those vineyards produced an exceptional wine that received the name of Vega Sicilia. Grape in the vineyard. is Tempranillo, Cabernet Sauvignon, Malbec, Merlot, and Grenache. Fermentation. Alcoholic fermentation starts with indigenous yeast. The wine is palmed over directly at the end of the fermentation. The tanks are empty. And malolactic fermentation being without the addition of bacteria. The temperature is held steadily at 20 degrees Celsius for a period of 22 days, during which the level of malic and lactic acid are monitored. Wine blend. Cabernet and Tempranillo refer to the increasingly popular blend of Cabernet Sauvignon. Alcohol content. Tempranillo has alcohol content approximately 11% to 14%. Cabernet Sauvignon is 13.5%. Malbec has alcohol content 13.5%. And Merlot has alcohol content 13.5%. Grenache has alcohol content at least 15%. Therefore, the highest alcohol content is Grenache. Pairing with food. Tempranillo should eat with lasagna, pizza, and dish with tomato-based sauce, barbecue, grilled meat, smoked dish. And serving temperature should be 55 to 60 Fahrenheit. Shelf life. These are aging terms ranging from little to no oak, all the way up to 18 to 24 months, with an additional 4 years of bottle aging. How can I tell if a wine is gog or bad? Gog wine gives off a smell that is similar to a dank, moldy basement, a wet new purple, or a wet dog. These aromas are associated with gog taint, or the wine being gog. This is a sign that the gog has had mold growing on it at some stage, which left a chemical known as TCA in the gog. The mold may be long gone, but even tiny amount of TCA can impact negative flavors on wine. Third, Cataluna. History of Cataluna winery. Wine production in Spain dates back to the Phoenicians, who inhabited in the peninsula more than 3,000 years ago. They discovered how favorable the warm climate was for winemaking, but it was during geopolitical dominance of the Western Roman Empire that winemaking was strongly developed in Catalonia. It became one of the region's main exports for centuries, until the fall of Roman Empire and arrival of the Moorish rule. By the Middle Ages, for favorable Mediterranean climate made Spanish wine one of the most frequently traded products in the Mediterranean. The deeply rooted commercial spirit of the local people and the know-how knowledge was a successful combination. This is the grape in Cataluna winery. And the next one is fermentation. Fermentation is carried out of gentle delay stage after steeping in the grape pulp for over 25 days. Wine blend. Carinella and Grenache is a popular red wine blend used in southern French and northeastern Spain. Alcohol content. Carinella is 14 alcohol content. Serving temperature is 16 to 18 degrees Celsius. Shelf life is around 7 years. Pairing with food. It can pair with cheese, herbs, or spice, and vegetables. How can I tell if a wine is gog or bad? Gog wine gives off a smell that is similar to a dank, moldy basement, a wet new purple, or a wet dog. These aromas are associated with Gok or the wine being Gok. This is a sign that the Gok has had mold growing on it at some stage, which left a chemical known as TCA in the Gok. The mold may be long gone, but even tiny amount of TCA can impact negative flavors on wine. Red wine in French. In Bordeaux is Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. In Burgundy, Burgundy-based wine mainly on two grape variety Chardonnay grape for white wine, Pinot Noir grape for red wine, and the last one is Brocone, the indigenous grape variety that grow in the region like Chillat, Ganache, Mourvèdre, Viognier, and Roussanne are often referred to as grown grape. History of Bordeaux. Wine region dates back to the ancient Romans, who were the first people to cultivate, plant vineyards, and produce Bordeaux wine. The Romans took over the area in about 60 BC. They referred to the area as Bouryakiat. For history buffs, the most complete ruins remaining in Bordeaux from the day of the ancient Romans are remnants of the Palais Gallien amphitheatre. Grape in Bordeaux is Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, and Malbec and Gamay. Fermentation. The first is steaming and crunching. Second, alcoholic maceration and fermentation. Third, drawing of up and pressing. Fourth, second fermentation. Fifth, ranking, and sixth is aging. Wine blend. A red Bordeaux blend is primarily composed of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Cabernet Franc, with smaller portion of Malbec and Petit Verdot. The white Bordeaux blend is primarily made of Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon, with a splash of Muscadel in the mix. Alcohol percentage. Bordeaux wine have inched up from their humble 10% to 12%, then 12.5%, 13%, and today they hover around 14 or even 15%. Pairing with food. Due to its freshness and flavor profile, pair with almost any white food, shellfish, fish of all types, oyster, sushi, veal, chicken, pork, and many things. Serving temperature. Red Bordeaux wine serving temperature is 61 to 64 Fahrenheit. White Bordeaux serving temperature is 43 to 47 Fahrenheit. Shelf life. Bordeaux wine usually reach their peak value approximately 20 to 30 years after release, depending on the quality of the vintage. Burgundy. History of Burgundy. One of the most interesting features of Burgundy is that the vineyards have become segmented over time. Burgundy land ownership is extremely splintered. After the French Revolution, land was distributed to peasant support according to the Napoleonic Code, which required all heirs to inherit equally through generations. The result, many generations later, is highly fragmented vineyard ownership structure. Grape in Burgundy. White Burgundy is Chardonnay and red Burgundy is Pinot Noir. Fermentation. malolactic fermented. In Burgundy, maturing in barrel is very common. Alcohol percentage, Burgundy wine is 13.5%. Serving temperature at 16 องศา Celsius. Pairing with food is mild cheese, tuna, chicken or rabbit, rack of lamb. Shelf life is 3 to 7 years. Wine blend. Red Burgundy, a light body red wine with notes of cherry, raspberry, puree, and clove. Pinot Noir, minimum of 85%. Gamay, Pinot Gris, Pinot Blanc, and Chardonnay. White Burgundy, a medium body white wine with note of lemon, apple, shark, and cream is Chardonnay and Aligot. The next one is Cone. History of Cone Winery. The Cone Valley has seen cultivation of its land for vineyard for more than 2,000 years. The ancient Greeks were the first people to plant vineyard in this region. This took place in 400 BC in the area of Marseille. The ancient Romans knew how to spot the best site for vineyard planting as well. By the 1st century AD, they too cultivate the regions planting wine in Vigne, which is in the general area of what we now call Côte Côte. Grape in cone. There are 27 unique grape varieties allowed for planting in the Cone Valley. Red wine is king in the Cone Valley. In the northern cone, Shiraz is the only red wine grape allowed. The most popular red wine grape in the southern cone is Grenache. Fermentation. The wines are traditionally fermented and aged in large oak barrels. Some appellations allow a small percentage of white grape to be blended and often fermented together with Shiraz. Wine blend. Grenache plays the star role in the southern cone red blend with Shiraz and Mourvedre playing supporting role. The highest alcohol content percentage of wine in this region is Croissant Hermitage. It has alcohol content 14.5%. The next one is pairing with food. Côte du Rhône red wine can be paired with any type of meat, grilled, roast, and white Côte du Rhône wine are easily to pair with any type of fish, shellfish, even sushi. Côte du Rhône white and red wine are perfect when served with a variety of different hard and soft cheese. Serving temperature. Red wine of Cone Northern is 18 องศา Celsius. Red wine of Côte du Rhône is 13 องศา Celsius and white wine dry and off dry of the Cone Northern is 10 องศา Celsius. The next one is white wine red and off dry of Cone Southern is 8 องศา Celsius. Shelf life is 15 to 20 years. The most expensive French wine is Domaine de la Commune. Bordeaux is the French area which is the most famous for wine. Three most famous wines in France are Commune Côte in Burgundy, Petrus in Pomerol in Bordeaux, and Chateau Margaux in Bordeaux. What are the best white wine in France? There are many white wine in France and many different white wine. Pessereau is the best white wine in Bordeaux in France. How many wineries are there in France? There are 27,000 wineries in France. What is percentage of land in France is wine production? In 2004, there are 53% of the land in France was covered by farm, while only cover 1.72% of the land in France. 3.23% of the farmland is covered by wines. What does terroir mean? Terroir is how the particular region climate, soil and aspect affect the taste of wine. Some regions are said to have more terroir than others. Which country is the world produce the highest amount of wine in total? Italy remains the world's largest producer with 54.8. What does côté mean? Côté is a French word that has many meanings and variations depending on the context in which it is used. Côté is translated to mean slight, and when added to another word can mean rating. Côté means coast and is used to describe some winemaking region and estate throughout France. What are the four main wine classifications in French? The first is AOC, second VDQS, fourth Vin de Pays, fourth is Vin de Table. Can American made sparkling wine be called champagne? Champagne wine is protected by an European regulation called Protected Designation of Origin or PDO. This European law protects the name of local product made in Europe. This law has been accepted recently by American administration. However, traditional makers of sparkling wine in the US who made this kind of wine before the administration accept the European law can still call their wine champagne. But new sparkling wine in the US cannot bear the name champagne on the label anymore. The next question is, are Rhone Valley and Côte du Rhône is the same? Yes, they are the same regions. The next question is, what is better between 2004 and 2005 of domain of Comene Conti? The answer is 2005 vintage is slightly better than 2004 true, especially for red wine in Burgundy. The next question, what are the 10 Beaujolais crus? There are 10 of Beaujolais, all in the north and producing only red wine. Usually the label will simply state the name of the cru. Each Beaujolais cru has its own distinct personality, such as climate, soil, altitude, aspect, and a host of other factors that are duplicated somewhere else. These wines are more complex and are known to age well. The question is, what medium French wine would you recommend? There are red wine, white wine, rosé wine, and sweet wine in the slide. And the next question is, what is the total production of wine in France divided by red and white wine? There are 26 million hectoliters of AOVDQS, AOC, and higher. 17.5 million red wine, including rosé, and 8.5 million is white wine. Next question is, what grape is used to make a muscadet wine? The answer is it is made from melon, the Bourgogne grape. Next, what is the difference between Hermitage and Crozes Hermitage? Hermitage and Crozes Hermitage are two different wine appellations in Côte d'Or. Although they come from same area, they are located around the city of Caen, Hermitage. The next one is I have a bottle of Chateau de la Gardine 1987 Chateau Neuf du Baba. Is it worth anything? If not, is it can drinkable? The answer is a bottle of Chateau Neuf du Bab should measure between 5 and 20 years for the best vintage. Therefore, the bottle have passed its optimum condition but still should be drinkable. Although you should drink it before 2007. The question is what kind of wine people used to drink in south of France? People in the south of France used to drink table wine. Wine is local and typically brought at the corpo of the village where people live. In the South French wine region, almost all village has a corpo. The next question is how long can Chablis be stored before drinking? The first is a petit Chablis can be enjoyed after 2 years, and a Chablis can also be enjoyed in its youth or be kept for 5 years or more. Next is a Chablis Premier Cru. It's a delight between 5 and 10 years of age. Next, a Chablis Grand Cru. This can be enjoyed from 10 to 12 years after harvest and beyond. Depending on the vintage, it is not range to enjoy a wonderful sensorial experience with a bottle of Chablis Grand Cru aged 15, 20 or even older. The question is what is the grape variety in Chablis? The answer is Chablis wine are produced exclusively from the Chardonnay grape variety. Next question is Monastrell grape variety known in French? The answer is it travels most commonly under its French name, Mourvedre. Next question, what wine glass do you use in Chinon? The answer is Chinon is a light body red wine. A white wine glass, 3-ounce glass, is suitable for a light body red wine. However, a typical red wine glass, 4 or 5-ounce glass, is also suitable.